Something's off. Why does this feel so wrong? Oh god, no, stay away from me! Being a cynical asshole is my default setting. If I can slander things, I will, hence why I've been making videos on explicitly bad branches. But let's be real here, not every branch in this game is the pulp in the orange juice. There are some damn good archetypes too. And quick aside here, full disclosure, it barely matters if I think a subclass is good or bad. More than anything, it's just a way for me to categorize things for my own ease of access. Which kind of video a subclass is in almost doesn't even matter at all, since most of them contain both good and bad operators. Although yeah, the most does a lot of heavy lifting with some archetypes. Make sense? Great. For the first positively themed video, feels so wrong. I figured I'd just choose a class with literally no bad operators, but spoiler alert, that class just so happens to be AoE medics, and talking about AoE medics means talking about rose salt, which I would normally relish, but I'm coming off a cold and my throat couldn't handle the spaz out that would entail, so you're gonna get Swordmasters instead, and you're gonna like it. If you're anything like me, when you first read the Swordmasters branch abilities, your reaction was something along the lines of, okay? What is that? Why? If you're a certified gamer though and understand how buffs typically work, you took one look at that ability and just said, hell yeah. Swordmasters deal damage twice. Each one time they attack, they deal damage twice in extremely rapid succession. It sounds worthless to the uninitiated, but in practice it is actually the opposite. It is in fact quite worthful. But why? Buffs. Swordmasters are very susceptible to positive buffing, both external and internal. Most operators in the branch have a talent or skill that feeds directly into their ability to deal stretchier damage. And if you slap Warfare on top of that, you end up with a menace to society. That's because percentage-based stat buffs work overtime on Swordmasters. Take a Dreadnought guard that deals 1000 damage with each attack and slap a plus 50% attack buff on him. Now he deals 1500 damage, respectable. But take a Swordmaster that deals 700 damage twice with each attack and apply the same buff. They scale much higher with stat increases, which means you can absolutely juice the hell out of them in integrated strategies. And the fact that a few of these guys deal AoE damage on top of that really doesn't make them any less terrifying. One potential downside to their gimmick is that they proc defense twice, but guards were never really designed to deal with those kinds of enemies anyway. At least until they were, of course. The only other noteworthy hindrance to Swordmasters is that they all require offensive regeneration for their skills. All of them. For all their skills. There are no exceptions to that rule. I think. Cutter really shouldn't be good, and yet here we are. If Cutter was a 6-star, she'd be one of the best goddamn units in the game because her talent is amazing, her skill 1 is amazing, and her skill 2 is utter dog shit. Nah, just fucking with you, it's also amazing. She only really stumbles on her module, getting the worst of the two, but neither are really all that great to begin with, so who cares. She gets the Y module, which ignores defense, which does synergize with being a Swordmaster, it's just, you know, not very much defense. While we're here, the X module buffs the damage dealt from skills, which is where most damage is coming from anyway, but it's only like a 10% increase, so if you need the boost, I guess. Oh, I'm off topic again. Where was I? Right, cookie cutter. Her two skills are more or less interchangeable. One might be better than the other depending on the stage, but good luck predicting which one. I personally default to her S2 because tornadoes are cool, but they're both solid, fun skills, and I couldn't fault you for using Redshift. Actually, that's a fucking badass name. Never mind, I like this skill better. Either way, the real reason Cutter is very much a viable roster staple is her talent. With every instance of damage dealt, she has a 1 in 5 chance to gain an extra SP. Notice that it is specifically damage-centric and not attack-centric. That means each attack gives her a 2 in 5 chance to gain an extra SP, with a 1 in 10 chance for 2. With good RNG, this Fox's SP generation is fucking sadistic. She can legitimately clutch a stage in ways even the 6-star Swordmasters couldn't dream of. As long as you don't mind restarting the stage 15 times waiting for a full house. Bibeak, or Bibeak, I honestly don't know, it's one of the two. She's not actually as bad as you'd initially think, but she's also not as good as that statement would indicate. Her S1 is just a simple damage spike that deals both physical and arch damage for literally no reason, but it's only 2 SP, so it procs all the time. The arch damage brings it down a bit since it's really not a great effect for a Swordmaster to have, but this skill is decent, I guess, just because of how often it procs. Her S2 is yet more arch damage. Why? It's pointless with her bitch-ass attack stat. This skill is pretty awful. Bibeak isn't terrible, she just deals no damage, which is, you know, the point of being a guard. She's just super mid. You can use her and things will probably work out, but why would you? She's boring and a pain and her talent doesn't even take advantage of the fact that she's a Swordmaster. It's just a flat out attack speed buff. Bibeak is just another face in the crowd. She's one of the operators of all time. Neither good nor bad, just kinda there. Collab operators are usually flaming ass. Is Tachanka an exception? No. But you know what? I like him anyway. Some operators like Bibeak are supremely mediocre, but better than operators like Tachanka, who are way more fun. Bibeak is technically the better character, but I don't think there's a single scenario where I'd be caught using her over Tachanka. He's what I call a fuck it we ball operator, where his kit is stupid and funny and sometimes really good and RNG reliant. His talent is the pinnacle of this, turning his range into more of a sentry defenders and a guards, and also increasing his redeploy time, because fuck you, I guess. His first skill is fine. It also employs arch damage for no reason, because of course it does. During the skill, he also ignores some defense. It's alright, but his second is way better because fuck it, we ball! The aptly named Spray and Pray sees Tachanka shit out a more billion bullets in 4 seconds, with a chance for each one to deal double damage. It's dumb and I love it. Also, his E2 is a hard image. There is no reason to ever use Tachanka, but I sometimes do it because fuck it, we ball! Also worth noting, Tachanka is actually the Swordmaster who benefits most from the X module. Because it's a percentage-based attack increase and his S2 deals a shitload of small instances of damage that all convert that buff independently of one another. It doesn't actually do anything in practice, but it's kinda neat, right? I'm not even gonna beat around the bush here. Why the fuck does this bitch play such a major role in the main story? Like, really, of all people to tie directly to Tallulah, you chose Chen? Hoshiguma was more interesting. Swire was more interesting. Fucking Rat King was more interesting. Chen just yells and throws fits like some rebellious teenager every time she's on screen. But fucking whatever, who cares? Chen's first talent is the first and last decent aspect of her kit. It's SP support for offensive and defensive recovery. Depending on who else you roster, this can be some pretty nice charity. And I bet her second talent is just as good. Okay, if anybody asks, she only has one talent. Chen's first skill sucks. Her second skill would be decent if it cost less SP, but it doesn't, so it sucks. Her third skill got power crept by Irene, so it doesn't suck per se, but you're settling for less by using it. Chen is another super mid operator. Using her is like wading into a knee-deep pool of human feces. Yes, it could be a neck-deep pool of feces, but there could also be no feces at all, so can we really use it as a valid grading standard? Sorry, my analogical aptitude leaves a lot to be desired. Burb. It took me 120 pulls to get Irene when I went in on her. And in the 119 pulls that preceded Ecstatic Revolution, I was tortured with not one, but 2 off-banner Degenbrechers. And if that's not spiteful Yostar malice, I don't know what is. Irene, which is technically pronounced Irene because Spain, but fuck that shit, along with every other Swordmaster, got power crept into the fucking stratosphere by Degen for absolutely no reason. But unlike those 4 other losers, Irene still manages to be an actively good operator. That's because she both has a niche and her kit actively melds with it instead of playing the floor as lava with an actually cohesive stat line. Now do keep in mind I said Irene has a niche, but I never said it was a useful one. She is a levitate operator. Great. But the important thing isn't that she has a useless niche, it's that her kit fully commits to it. Her first talent ignores defense towards aerial enemies, and yes, levitated enemies do count as being aerial, despite being up there against their will. Her first skill is fine. Her second skill is fine. And her third skill is fine shit, baby. As I mentioned about a minute ago, this skill just blatantly power creeps Chen's S3. It's basically the exact same thing with levitation and splash damage. It's legitimately still a good DPS skill even today. Is it objectively worse than a certain somebody's S3? Yep. But is it both visually silly to look at and also really good in its own right? Absolutely. I love Irene. I love using her. I love her accent.
Are these all your operators? Is it just me, or does some of them seem like an actual security risk?
And her E2 art is easily top 3 in the game. Good lord. You know what? I don't even need to talk about this one. I have nothing to say. You all know Degenbrecher. She's bullshit. Utter bullshit. It's like they made a balanced operator and then decided to just make her completely busted instead. Her gimmick is Frighten, which is another talent, but it is better than Levitate if nothing else. Degenbrecher's S2 is actually a really good DPS or skill, capable of eviscerating most enemies in range, while also being storable. Thing is, nobody knows that because there is no reason to ever use it over her stupid fucking discombobulate. Chen targets 1 enemy, Irene does splash damage centered around a random enemy, and Degen just attacks 6 enemies, regardless of where they are in her range. But the damage is comparable, Racket. It's not even that much more DPS than Irene. You know how I mentioned that Swordmasters are locked into the offensive recovery pipeline? No exceptions? Well, what if I were to tell you that Degen's S3 is auto recovery? You'd probably say, wow, that's broken. Degen's S3 is auto recovery. Anybody who just said, wow, that's broken, out loud gets a cookie. Yes, this psychotic DPS being 30 SP with auto recovery is every bit as absurd as it sounds. Elorn Degenerate is pretty objectively one of the best DPSers in the game. Also, I like her horns. They're cute. When it comes to straight DPS, Swordmasters are one of the best classes in the game. Even the bad operators in this class are just mediocre. Placing Bibeak anywhere near some of her other 5-star brethren is straight up insulting. The entire class is basically just progressive rungs on a ladder. Degen is better than Irene, is better than Chen, is better than Cutter, is better than Bibeak, is better than poor Tachanka, and all for explicitly apparent reasons. It's a fun class. Maybe not the most inventive out there, but it leads to entertaining operators, and that should always be the end goal anyway, right? Whoever you build, there's fun to be had, be it from erasing your enemy's souls or fuck it, we ball!